Okay, so a bit of a short one today, actually. A lot of people that I know, especially online, are getting hacked, particularly kids on Discord, where they'll be playing a video game such as Minecraft and they'll end up clicking on a link, whether if it be from a friend or if it be from whoever, right? If you found it online, they end up clicking on this link and then they end up having what's called session hijacking end up happening, and then their account gets compromised. They start sending out links to other people, and then there's like this mass spread effect going across multiple accounts because now your friends are sending you links and then you're clicking on those links because they are your friends and you trust your friends, obviously, so you would click on any link they provide you, and in turn your account also gets compromised. So I just kind of wanted to take a moment and raise some awareness for those of you who would just do this very thing, click on anything, whether it be from a friend or a stranger, because honestly, you can't trust anyone anymore. Now, you can trust your friends, obviously, but who's to say that your friend did not click on a bad link and you just don't know about it? So it's always best to verify with them that you are clicking the correct link, especially if it's a domain you don't know or understand. And a lot of it really just comes down to common sense, right? So if you take a look at the domain for a email, even phishing emails or whatever, they'll have what's called a domain, whatever.com, and if it matches up to what you are expecting that domain to be. So if you receive something from YouTube that's from the google.com domain, then you can trust it because it comes from Google. However, if you receive something for YouTube that comes from, I don't know, someone like gmail.com, maybe it's not so trustworthy. Even though it's a Google Mail domain, you're not going to have accounts from Gmail messaging you about your Google account. It just doesn't work that way. Now, I might be entirely wrong on what all domains they use to reach out to their customers and so forth, but just be aware of what kind of links that you're clicking. Not all links online are equivalent to each other, and a lot of people just don't get that. So now that you're totally paranoid on what links you can click and what links you can't click, let me give you some pretty solid pointers and advice on what links that I would click personally. And maybe that could give you some general guidance on what you could do to protect yourself. First, you always want to check and make sure that the domain is exactly what you're expecting. Make sure that none of the letters have been replaced. So an L being replaced with an I that is capitalized, or if it is a 0 in place of an O, because not all fonts will have a slash through the 0. So it's kind of hard to tell, is that capital O or is that a 0? Because what these scammers and all these bad actors will end up doing is they'll end up creating these links, and with these links they have all of the bad stuff is within the link of itself, right? You'll be able to tell, and they'll try to mimic something such as Discord and try to get you to click on it. And then you go through what's called session hijacking. And Google even came out with something. They said that session hijacking is nothing new, and they did some things to help protect users against it, but honestly, your account's probably still at risk anyway, right? If you think about it, there's not much they can do. Now, they can add some protections on their side, but realistically, not all services are going to be like them. And then whenever you change your password, they still have your session, because most services, they won't log you out after you change your password. So your session is still valid and you think you're safe. So you're like, oh, but I changed my password. Well, it doesn't matter because they still have your session, and in turn, they can do whatever they want on behalf of you. So you have to make sure to invalidate your sessions. And I'm not a doomsday type guy, so I will advise you to log on to the service. Usually they'll allow you to log out other devices from your account. Once you have secured access to your own account, go and log out all other devices and cut off all access that you don't use or need or even want. And then if you ever do want that in the future, you can turn it on. But as of for the moment, if you're not using it, it's probably best not to use it. And then more importantly, just use some common sense. Don't use the same password for all websites. I write a lot of web applications and such, and I can tell you, like, not everyone treats your password with the highest tier of respect and care. They have security vulnerabilities in their website, and there's a bunch of stuff that gets involved through that entire process on why they still have vulnerabilities. It might not be the company's goal to fix those right now. And so you have to be willing to accept that as part of being a user of their services. And so ways that you can mitigate the risk for yourself is just not to use the same password on all the websites you visit. So instead, go to someone who's very privacy oriented, such as a password manager manager like Bitwarden or LastPass, and you can install them to log into your services and everything will be fine. That is my suggestion to you. Or if you're more technically inclined, you can probably store them on your file system, just encrypt them, please. Please don't have a text document on your computer, because one day someone might take a look, or someone with a USB passes by and plugs it in and steals them. So don't store them in your web browser. Those are not secure, that's not safe. That's an entirely different conversation. But this video and podcast is more about awareness, so please just verify links before you click on them. And with that, be safe, and let's go get some coffee.